Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing this evening? Well, we just got back from dinner, probably, I don't know, 20, 30 minutes ago. And we're getting ready to watch some TV or a movie or something. I can see that it is fogging up around the edges again. A couple of you guys said that you felt like you were watching some like old movie or something like that in the comments yesterday, which I thought was really cute. So anyway, doing my best with the humidity outside. It's so humid tonight. As soon as we got back, I keep on forgetting, like when we leave for dinner, I'm like, I should just put the camera outside when we leave for dinner, and then I forget, because we're always in a rush to get to dinner. So as soon as we got back to the room, I put the camera outside so that it could like get warm. It's so cold because it's like 80 degrees outside or something, and really, really humid. And the room is like 60. Alex turned it up before we left because he said it's freezing cold. I love it cold inside, but he said it's so cold in here. So he moved it up to like 68 or 69, but it was like 60, 64, 65 inside the room. So the camera is freezing cold. So when I bring it outside, it like the humidity really gets it. Right behind me at the restaurant over there, when we were walking back, we saw that they are having a rehearsal dinner for somebody's wedding. And it was like this huge table that was set up, and they had all these white flowers on it. It was beautiful. Everybody was really dressed up, and it's like right next to the pool. It looks absolutely gorgeous out there. People are like shouting behind me and things like that. But anyway, there's a rehearsal dinner going on at that restaurant right over there. It's so funny because a couple people commented, I don't know, I think it was on my vlog, and they said they wonder if the rooms on either side can hear like what I'm saying, and then they wonder if they're having like, if they think I'm having like a conversation with myself or something like that. So I'm like right up against the, what do you call it? I'm like right up against the window right here. So I'm all the way in. I was actually in the pool earlier today. I'm gonna get in the pool tonight again too. But I was actually in the pool earlier today, and there were people on either side, and I didn't even know there were people. They were out there talking, and I didn't even know they were talking until I was like in the pool out there. So I don't think they can really hear me. But I have this trip I didn't think about it, but on previous like trips to like Miami, when I'm sitting out on a balcony or whatever, I'm always like, I wonder if people can hear me on either side. Every once in a while, like I'll turn off my camera when I get done vlogging, and then I'll hear like a chair move on another patio, like somebody just got done and like listening to everything. I don't really care. So they get a live vlog, but yeah, I never had anybody say anything to me or anything. But on a vlog, I mean, it's not like, you know, a drama video where I'm flipping a fan and I'm talking really loud. I have a feeling if people do hear me, they probably just think I'm having like a phone call with somebody. Because I have, you know, like talked to, you know, a bunch of my friends and stuff. So I think that's probably what they think, because I'm just having a phone call or something like that. Who knows? I don't think they can really hear me though. Because like this couple was over there and they were talking louder than I'm talking right now, and I couldn't hear them until I got to the pool. The reason why I knew was because they'd been like sitting out there. You could see they like waved to me and stuff. Like I went out there and I like put my head up over on the other side where the grass is, and when I turned around I could see them, and they were like in their swimsuits, like with their towels around, and they like waved to me and stuff like that. But they were out there and I couldn't hear them. So yeah. So we went to the Italian restaurant tonight. Alex and I, neither one of us were very hungry, because after we came up from the beach today, so Alex went down ahead of me to the beach today, and I was kind of slow rising today. We finished last night. We were just gonna watch 2 episodes because Alex was like, it's getting really, really late. So we had previously watched the first 4 episodes of Pretty Little Liars Summer School, and then we had just had 4 left. But we watched the first 2, like I guess, episode 5 and 6, and they were so good that Alex was like, oh no, we have to find out what's gonna happen now. So we stayed up and watched those. We went to bed about 2 o'clock last night. I, even taking my medicine, could not fall asleep. Well, my medicine doesn't really help me fall asleep, it keeps me asleep. And, but I thought I was gonna be able to fall asleep, because like while we were watching the show, it was like leaning on the pillow and stuff like that. I could not fall asleep last night to save my life. Like I was like so tired, and I couldn't. Don't you hate that when you're so tired and you can't fall asleep? That hasn't really happened to me on this trip at all. Last night was like the first time. I kept on getting up and going to the bathroom, And so I don't even know what time I finally fell asleep. But when I woke up today, Alex was like getting ready to go to the beach, and he was like, I'm gonna go down to the beach. He's like, I'm gonna go to the coffee shop and get some coffee first. I'm gonna go to the beach. He's like, are you coming behind me? And I was like, yeah. I was like, give me like a half an hour or so because I've got to get myself up. I was so, like, when I woke up this morning, I was so tired. So we went down to the beach, and today I'm really surprised. Like, when I looked at the weather before we came down here, for like the next 10 days, it was supposed to be thunderstorms and raining every single day. And it did, like, the first 2 days that we were here, it rained. You know, like, well, the first day we were here, it, like, thunderstormed like crazy. The next day it rained a little bit, but ever since then, I think it was cloudy the day after that. But the last 2 days, like yesterday, was really pretty beautiful. And today it was absolutely blue skies. Beautiful. But it was, like, squelching hot outside. It was so, so, so hot outside that I could only, like, lay out on the beach for like 2 hours. Alex was like, I'm gonna come back to the room. He was getting us, so the fedoras that they give you in your room, they give you like these straw fedoras or straw, like, big hats, and you can have them painted. So he had one painted, I think it said his birthday, and it said, like, established, like, you know, and so he got that put on there, and because it's like his birthday trip and all that kind of stuff. So he always takes the fedoras home. He always gives them to Carlitos and Sebastian because they love the straw fedoras. But this one he's going to keep because he got it painted. They have these women out here that just sit out here and they'll paint. You can paint them or they'll paint them, whatever you want them to paint them. So anyway, so we wanted to go pick up the hat before they, like, close down. And so, because we knew that we were doing the couples video today because we were going to film that today. And so he was like, okay, I'm going to go get my fedora and then go put it in the room because he didn't know what time they were going to, like, they're only up there for like 2 hours. And at that point I was like, okay, he goes, are you going to be down here for a little bit longer? And I was like, I'm probably only going to stay down here at the beach for like I was getting in the water like every 10 minutes. I was so burning up. I was so hot. And so I said, I'm probably only going to stay down here for another half an hour, babe, because I'm, like, burning up. And he was like, okay. I mean, even I was sitting under an umbrella. For most of the day, like, I was sitting on my stomach. Yesterday and today, I put 50 on my face. 50, he has it's like some mineral cream, sun lotion. I put 50 on my face because my face is not doing good. I actually got more sun, and they say this is true. I mean, whoever they are, I totally believe it, but that you get more sun under the clouds than you do in full sunshine. I think it was the day that it was, like, partly cloudy. It was, like, the last day that everybody was here, and it was, like, partly cloudy. That day was the day that I got the most sun. And I know that the people don't like to believe that I wear sunscreen, but I do wear sunscreen. Not always, but I try to, like, if I'm, like, worried that I'm going to really get burnt. So yesterday and today, I put, like, this 50, I can't remember what the brand, I think it's Sunbum Mineral or something. It was, like, 50 on my face. But even with that, I was, like, laying on my stomach, and then I got underneath this umbrella. I was fully covered, and I was burning up. I was just like, oh my God, I have to get out of this heat. So I told Alex, I said, I think I'm only gonna stay here for like another half an hour. And he was like, okay. He was like, well, if you're gonna come up in a half an hour, then I'm just gonna, like, I'll just stay up in the room. He was like, because I'm, like, pretty toasty too. And I was like, okay. I felt bad because at that point it was like 2:45. It wasn't even that, like, late yet. At 2:45, 3 or something. I think it was like 3 when we finally went up. And I said, if you want to come back down here, we can come back down here. Because we haven't really been going to the pool except for when our friends were here because we have the pool right there. So I love looking at it behind me. So if we want to be in the pool, we just come here. But when they were here, we would, like, go up to the pool and stuff like that. Well, those days the beach wasn't that great. Today I wouldn't say there were a lot of people on the beach. I'd say there were, like, I don't know, like maybe 7 couples of people on the beach, maybe 10. It wasn't that many people. I don't think there were 10. Especially when we left, it was about half of when we came up there. We met these 2 women. They're sisters from Montreal, and they come down here quite a bit too. And we were talking about it, and they're probably my age. They were really, really nice. And so they were telling us, like, because we were actually talking to Demi and Frankie about going to Montreal as, like, a trip, like the 4 of us. Because I've been to Montreal when I was really, really little. Was it Montreal or was it Toronto? I can't remember. It was with my dad's partner, his business partner's wife, because she was from Toronto. And so anyway, so we were talking about them going to Montreal. So I was telling these women that we were thinking about doing, like, a couple's trip to Montreal, and they were telling us, like, what to do and all this kind of stuff. They were really, really nice. So we got back to the room. Yeah, we were back here, like, by 3 o'clock today. And so we filmed the couples video. It actually went longer than we thought it would. It was like, I think it came out to like, I just looked at it, like an hour and a minute long. So, so yeah, I just finished the thumbnail and all that kind of stuff and have it ready to go for tomorrow. So it's like an hour and a minute long, maybe a little bit shorter than that. I can't remember how long it is. But anyway, so filmed that, and then when we got, right as soon as we got done with that, I was like putting it up and all this kind of stuff, and he was like, well, I want to go to the coffee shop and get a snack. I'm really, really hungry. And at that point, it was like 4:30, and I was like, okay, I'll go with you. So he got like a grilled cheese panini, and they have this, like, they have 3 vegan sandwiches, 3 vegan paninis here, and one of them is really, really good. It's called the Vegan Mediterraneo or something like that. It's like portobello mushrooms and tomatoes and onions, and it's vegan cheese. It's delicious. I think I told you guys about it before. But anyway, so I got that. And then they have the best chocolate donuts in the entire world. I'm not even a huge chocolate donut fan, which is so weird. They're like these chocolate, like, I wouldn't say they're cake donuts, but they're not glazed donuts either. I don't even know. They're kind of in between. They're so good. They're the most delicious donuts in the entire world. So I always get a bag and bring them back here. I am so sure I've gained weight on this trip. Just because some things are not fitting me great either. Oh well. I usually lose weight on vacation. Oh, today on the beach, we took a walk all the way down there and all the way back. There's these iguanas that, like, if you walk all the way down there, there's like this, it's like a gazebo, but it's not really a gazebo because it looks more like the Coliseum, but like 10 feet across. It looks like something you'd see in like Athens or whatever. And when after Pee passed away, when we came here, we walked down there, and there was like this iguana, this, like, it wasn't super big, it was like probably this, there's iguanas all over the place, but this iguana that was like this big, and it was all black. And I said something to Alex about, we've been thinking about Pee a lot on this trip, I don't know why, and we were looking at pictures of Tucker tonight, so they came up on my iPad. All this, like, you know how like those collections of pictures come up, and it's like, they always put these like pet friends, and it's like 2019, 2020, 2021. So I always like look through them, and then I get real sad. They always play it with real sad music. I don't know. I guess the iPad just naturally does that. But anyway, so we walked down there today because we wanted to see our iguana friend. Like, there's not 10,000 iguanas in this area, but we always think we see the same one that's Pee. Because I said, oh, I think that's Pee, and he's reincarnated into this iguana so that he can live by the ocean in Mexico, and we can come visit him. That's why I said to Alex that time that we were here. So anyway, we went down there to go visit Pee. It was so hot. I was like, I don't see Pee anywhere. And Alex goes, there he is. It is weird that every time that we come down here and we go down there, there's always just like, I mean, most of the iguanas down here are like green, or like a dark green, or like kind of like an army green. Like this one iguana that we saw that time was like a black iguana, like all black. You don't see many all black iguanas down here. And this one was like all like grayish kind of black that we saw that time. And so we saw this one that was grayish black today. I don't think I've seen one that's, so maybe it is the same iguana. I don't know. I looked it up tonight because Alex was like, you keep on saying you want to look. I was like, I wanted to look up to see how long iguanas live. They live 20 to 25 years, Mexican iguanas. So, in case you wanted to know. So then, after we got back from the coffee shop, he ate a sandwich there. I brought it back to the room. He got some like little dessert thing too that he was eating there. And so it's so weird because we always eat so late. Like, we've been eating at 8:30, which is like early for us. We usually eat at like 9 or 9:30, which is so funny because you always see the same people at the restaurants. Like, if you eat that late, it's like, because the restaurants aren't that busy at the time, and so you always see the same people between like 9 and 9:30. It's like we're the ones that take naps and, like, you know what I mean, stay on the beach real late and whatever. Although we haven't the last 2 days. But anyway, listen to more of my audiobook today. I think I have like 2 hours left of the Steve Kavanaugh book. It's good. It's getting really, really good. I mean, it already was good. I think I read so many thrillers that I can kind of see the direction that they're going in. And so I kind of had it a little bit figured out, and like the direction it went in, I was kind of like, oh, this is kind of how I thought it. The only thing is I don't know how this one character like fits into the whole story. So that's kind of the fun of like reading it and figuring it out. So we came back here. Last night, was it last night? I think it was when we got back from the beach yesterday. I finished the ABC special for Sister Wives after season 1. I think I probably talked about that, on here yesterday. So last night, Okay, last night we finished Pretty Little Liars Summer School Season 2. It's so good, you guys. If you like, I will tell you, I was really scared. Alex was like, are you really that scared? I was like, yeah, I think it's pretty scary. If you like horror movies, I would, and it's cheesy, but horror movies are cheesy. Definitely watch the reboot of Pretty Little Liars on HBO Max. The first season's called Original Sin, and the second season's called Summer School. They go together. So like you couldn't watch season 2 without watching season 1. They like go together. But I will tell you, it's totally worth it, and I think season 2 is just as good as season 1. So we finished that last night, and then I went to bed right after that. Today, I finished the last episode, so I completely finished season 1 of Sister Wives, because there was 2 specials after it. There was the ABC special, like when you like go through the whole season, these are on there. There was the ABC special, which was like an interview of like Cody and the wives, and then there was Cody and Robin's honeymoon, where they go to San Diego. So I watched that one today while I was eating, and then after that, I started watching episode 1 of season 4 of Survivor, which is with Boston Rob. I don't really remember. I mean, I remember him being on that season, but I don't remember. I don't really remember anything about that season. I mean, I remember, I think, like who wins and stuff like that, but I don't really remember a whole lot about that season. Because like when they're introducing people, I'm like, oh, she seems really familiar to me. Like I think she makes it far. Because if you remember people on Survivor, then it means they had to have made it far. Because if they get kicked off first or second, there's no reason why you would remember them. You only remember them because they've made it through the majority of the show, you know? By the way, Big Brother starts in July. Who's going to watch it? Are we going to all watch it? We should all watch it together. I know that Nikki, Mel, and I are going to watch it together. And Tanya Jean always watches it. So Alex doesn't watch it. He can't be bothered with Big Brother. But I'm so excited that Big Brother is getting ready to start. So I watched the first episode. Oh, no, I don't think I finished the first episode. I think I'm like halfway through the first episode. And then I went and I was like, okay, I have to take a nap before we go to dinner. And Alex was like laughing at like TikToks and stuff like that. He kept on sending me all these TikToks today of these like funny Chihuahua dogs. We've been like I said, we were talking about PP a lot. And so he was like looking at these TikToks and laughing and stuff like that. Cracks me up. Anyway, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna take a nap and whatever. So like he plugged in his phone. He's like, I'm gonna take a nap too. I'm really tired. I was like, are you like gonna like he has been laying down. Like at home, sometimes he will, but he'll be like, if I'm gonna take a nap, I might as well just go to sleep for the night. And I'm like, oh, okay. So like, but down here, he's been like taking naps, like falling asleep with me. So we both got up at 8 o'clock and snoozed our alarms for like 5 more minutes. So we both got up at like, I think actually it went off, like, I don't know how long it takes, but we finally got up at like 10 after 8. He got in the shower. I got in the shower right after him. Then we got ready and then we went to dinner. Little do they know that they're in my vlog. Oh well, special cameo appearance by whoever these people are behind me. He's like, where did everybody go? That's what she says in The Rose. Did you guys see that movie with Bette Midler? What's so crazy to me is that like this is not like a place right behind me where you would stand. It's like so there's like all these buildings over here and there's all these buildings over there. It's actually a small resort. It goes like 8 is in front, and then it goes 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, and then in the middle is like where all the restaurants and the bar and the coffee shop is. And then it goes 4, 3, 2, 1. So it's 3 buildings in the ocean front, and then 3 buildings in the ocean front over here. So it's like 8 buildings total, but each building doesn't have that many. So in the middle of all of that is where the pools are. There's like 2 big pools. And then this is a sidewalk. So why these people are choosing to stand right behind my room, I don't understand. I don't know why they're choosing to stand right behind. I mean, it's literally a sidewalk. Like there's nothing to stand there unless they're just like, hey, are we going to our room? Are we going to have a drink? It is kind of weird, like, not having everybody here because the nights that like our friends and family and stuff were here. We've been keeping up with Jesse and Fufu because they're in Tulum, so they've been like we've been texting them and stuff like that and what they're doing. They're like playing it low key. They like went golfing one day. They like have a pool at their Airbnb, so they like just like hung out at the Airbnb one day and stuff like that. I'm so confused. It's like, this is such a weird place for people just to like stand. I mean, I don't really care, obviously. Can you see them all walking? Somebody shout them out and let them know that they're getting cameo appearances in my vlog. It's kind of weird because Dice Whistle, there's a convention going on here right now too. There's a wedding and there's a convention, and then the rest of it's like pretty empty. I'm kind of surprised actually. Like last weekend was like really busy. Well, I wouldn't say it was really busy, but it was busy. And then it just like all of a sudden it was like there was no, it was dead. There's nobody here. It was like half the resort left when everybody, like all of our friends did and stuff, like on Monday. Like the pool, like you couldn't get chairs before, and the pool now it's like you can get chairs everywhere and all that kind of stuff. And so it kind of surprises me a little bit. I don't necessarily remember that about coming here in June before, that there's that few people here. I think the wedding that they're having is actually a rather large wedding, because the rehearsal dinner tonight, it looked like there was like 30 people there. It's a pretty large rehearsal dinner. I'm trying to think of how many people. Well, everybody that came to our wedding came to our rehearsal dinner, except for like 2 couples that hadn't flown into Las Vegas yet. So it was like everybody that was at our wedding, and we only had 30 people at our wedding. So, oh, by the way, and we mentioned this in our Q&A today. So Alex, we were in bed last night and we were watching Pretty Little Liars, and he like picked up his phone to look at something. We were in between like episodes, and it was like 1 o'clock in the morning. So he was like looking at the date. Today's the 26th, and he was like, "Do you know what today is?" And I was like, "Wednesday." He was like, "No, the date, the 26th." He asks me this every year, and I'm like, "Oh yeah." I was like, at first I couldn't remember it. I was like, "It's our wedding date." So today is the 10-year anniversary of us being legally married in the state of Indiana. And I shared the story on our Q&A that we did, so I'll just save it for that. But I still remember it. It's so weird because we were having birthday dinners that night. So my aunt Kathy and Uncle Dave, Caroline's parents, used to always take Alex and I out to dinner like during the week of our birthdays, for like our joint birthdays. They would take us out to dinner. And so we were going to this restaurant that my Aunt Kathy and Uncle Dave loved. Well, they loved when they were alive, and it was called Daddy Jack's. There's Daddy Jack's, which is like steaks, hamburgers, pasta, and stuff like that. And then right next to it is Kona Jack's. And Kona Jack's is like all seafood. They're really well-known restaurants in Indianapolis. I don't know if it's a chain or not. I have no idea if Kona Jack's and Daddy Jack's is a chain. But, so Alex called me. I thought it was later in the day. He said today on the video that it was like 1 o'clock, but I guess it was. He remembers some of that stuff better than I do. But anyway, he was like, "We have to go down there." I feel like it was like a Thursday or a Friday. And he was like, well, I mean, I guess we could look. I have no idea what day of the week it was. It could be a Tuesday or a Monday. I don't know. But he was like, "We have to go down there and get married today." And he was like, because they're going to, like in 2 or 3 days, they're going to pass the law. So what happened was marriage equality passed in Indiana. And Alex was like afraid that if we didn't get married like in those 2 or 3 days, then they were going to like outrule it. And then you would have to wait until it was federally passed, which could be another couple of years. We didn't know. It didn't end up being that long, but we didn't know. So we went down to the City County building in Indianapolis that day. It was so cool. We saw so many people that we used to like go out with, like acquaintances, not just like friends of ours, but like acquaintances of ours that we hadn't seen in years, that were getting married and stuff like that. And people were like really, really dressed up. Alex and I were wearing shorts, I think polo shirts. I think I might have even had a t-shirt on. And like flip-flops, which is so funny because I never wear flip-flops anymore. I always wear the Birkenstock sandals, or plastic Birkenstock sandals. But anyway, it was like $25 more if you wanted to get married in this, like, they have like this man-made like chapel thing, and there was just like this, you just stood underneath this thing and they like read it to you. So we were like, yeah, let's do it. We've already had our, so we got married in 2011. Our wedding was in 2011. So this August, it will be 13 years that we've been married. But this is when it was state passed. In 2014. Well, what's interesting is that it was like 3 days later. A bunch of crazy stuff happened, like, that started it in Indiana. If I remember correctly, there was like a county clerk that refused to grant marriage licenses to same-sex couples. It was like in southern Indiana, and that was kind of what started it. And so then it was like literally like 3 days that 2 or 3 days, maybe 2 days, that you could get married legally in the state of Indiana as a same-sex couple. And then I think people don't really get this sometimes, like, and I'm not talking about whatever your religious or political beliefs are, but like, if you're not part of the LGBTQIA plus community, okay, like the idea of living in the United States and like having to think about your legal right to get married, like that you're, like we hardly ever today, like anybody, it's very rare that we run across anybody that's like, oh, you're not really a couple, or you're not really like, you're not the same as us. Like I don't know, maybe people are afraid to say that to us, but I don't feel like I ever really run into that today. But that was really kind of the climate at that time. There were a lot of people that were like, oh, I'll never call you guys husbands. I don't care if you're legally married or not, you know? Unfortunately, for them, those people are no longer in our lives. I mean, we didn't really have any, I'm joking about that kind of because we didn't really have anybody in our lives. But we would meet people like that, or you would hear about people like that in the news and things like that, right? I mean, Alex and I were at the forefront of all this kind of stuff about like, you know, people that were refusing to serve gay couples and like help them with their weddings and whatever, which as a business owner, that's their right, but that was the climate at the time, right? And so I think sometimes people don't like really get why it was such a big deal, you know? Like, think about if you're not, like if you're just heterosexual, right? Think about your wedding day and the excitement and the planning of it, and you're gonna marry the love of your life, and you want to spend hopefully eternity with the love of your life, and you're going to put the work into it, and you're going to go to marriage counseling if things get rough, and you're going to stay together, and you're going to build a family, and you're going to live in a neighborhood and contribute to that, right? But none of that's possible because it's illegal for you to get married. Like, you literally cannot get married legally, right? I don't think people really understand what it felt like. It was dehumanizing. Like when people say like, well, it's not really your like civil or human rights, like, okay, but everybody else can get married, but we can't just because we're gay, you know, or lesbian or whatever. It's like, it's dehumanizing. It's again another instance in the world where we feel less than. You know, when we've grown up our entire lives feeling less than other people. So it was a really big deal when it happened. And I'm really like, Alex was he was like, we've got to do this now because we don't know. It could be another 10 years, right? Before they legally pass it. And you know, Alex and I were very concerned about like wills and insurance and things like that. I mean, those were big deals for us. And like, yes, you can still do that as a gay couple without legal rights, but it's like, it's a lot trickier. And so Alex was like, we have to do this now. So we're basically like grandfathered in. So we did. And Alex, I'll never forget, they had a big map. They had a state map, and then they had a world map. And so they asked us like where we were from. They already had people that had been married from that county. And so, or from that city. And so then Alex said, but I'm from Venezuela. And they said, you're from Venezuela? And they looked on the map, and he was the first person from Venezuela that was a same-sex couple to be married in Indiana, which was really cool. And the coolest thing was, I think that the majority of us were afraid of like what we were gonna meet when we went down there. That we were gonna meet like nastiness or people that were just like, you know, doing it because they had to. It was part of their job, but they didn't really agree with it. And that was just completely not the case whatsoever. I remember it being like all women that worked in the office. I don't know why. I don't remember any men. I remember it being all women. And they were so excited. And I mean, the whole office was like decorated with like pride flags and stuff like that. And every couple that came up there, they were like selling, like I don't think they were even selling, I think they were giving away like roses and stuff like that. They were corsages. Like the women in that office were such a huge part. I'm like, this makes me kind of like teary-eyed thinking about it, because for so long we hadn't been accepted, you know, like, and personally, I had never felt that acceptance, you know. And then to have these women, I can remember these women were so excited. I was like, I can remember being terrified to walk up there, you know, and say, like, we want to get a marriage license, and we were terrified, you know. And they were so cool about it, and not that they shouldn't be, that's not what I'm saying, but like, they were like excited about it. Like, they wanted to be part of this moment in history, and it really was a moment in history, you know. And so anyway, it was just really, really cool. And I even remember the woman that married us and stuff like that. And even though we don't celebrate that as our anniversary, because that was just the legal date that we got married, we had our wedding August 25th of 2011. So that's like our big day for us, is our wedding. That will always be our wedding for us. But this was a moment in history too. It was a moment in time, you know, that we legally on paper became a couple, and it was such a huge deal. The camera stopped. I had no idea. I vlogged for half an hour. And then it was like a month later. I've talked about this, I've hinted at it a little bit, but like Alex and I did a lot of work for marriage equality, and worked with a lot of different organizations. I had worked with a lot of organizations on anti-bullying campaigns, and so we were like one of the, like our stance, because we weren't going to let the law stand in the way of us getting married and in front of our friends and family. And that was kind of like a statement that we made, that we of course would get married legally when it happened, but if that day never came, we were not going to let the law stand in the way of our love. That was a huge statement, and it kind of got turned into something that we like said a lot in Indiana. And so when marriage equality passed in the United States, USA Today and other news organizations reached out to us from Indiana, and they asked us if they could use one of our pictures for the Sunday edition of Marriage Equality. I think it passed on a Friday. It actually, I don't believe it was a couple of months after. I feel like it was like the next week or two after Indiana passed. I feel like, I don't have my phone out here right now. It's so weird that I don't remember the dates, but I feel like it was rather quickly after that it happened. It was funny because one of the questions we answered today in our Q&A was like, what's one of the proudest moments in my life? And I didn't even really think about that because we had talked about that earlier. Well, I did say us getting the day we got married, but I didn't mean that day. I meant our wedding. But I would have to say like that day, you know, collectively to see all these men and women getting married downtown, you know, that we had, some of us we had hung out with and gone to after hours parties, but most of us we had hid in the shadows of queer bars, you know, in Indiana. Like, that was where we found our community. And then we're like passing each other on the street as we're getting married. It was the first time that we were able to, like, you know, and I will say this, there was nobody picketing, there was nobody, like, none of that. Like, I don't remember any of that from that day. I remember just like walking in and being so excited and so happy, and like we were like making sure we like, you know, got down there. We were like one of the later couples. Alex said we got down there at like 1:30. I feel like it was a lot later than that because we went right from there to go have dinner with my aunt and uncle. But like by the time that we got in there, they had married like so many couples at that point because they told us. And I remember like we just like we passed some of our friends, passed a lesbian couple that we're really good friends with and this gay couple that we're really good friends with, and both of them said that the line was like a mile long and that they had waited in line for like 2 hours. Well, when we got there, we like literally walked right on in. And I mean, there were so many people like dressed up in tuxes and stuff, which is why it's kind of funny that we were like in shorts and a t-shirt, but we had already had our wedding. You know, this wasn't our wedding. It was, but it wasn't. So, but anyway, wow, what a day, you know? It's something that I never really thought was going to be possible for me in my life. I can remember like being, you know, like when I came out and then in my early 20s, I never thought like me getting married as a gay man would ever be anything possible. I really never, in my wildest dreams, I can remember having conversations with friends and they'd be like, oh no, it's going to happen one day. And I'd be like, I mean, when I first came out, it wasn't even like, oh, it'll happen one day. We didn't even talk about it. Like if you're from my generation, you'll know what I'm talking. We didn't even talk about it as an option, you know? When I said that, what I was saying was that, like, I can remember talking to friends and they would say, looking back, they knew it was going to happen one day. And I'm like, I didn't. Most of my friends that we talked to, they never thought, I mean, I don't remember ever in my 20s us having conversations about, like, being legally married. I mean, hell, we were talking about, like, I can remember when I was in high school thinking I'd have to get, like, married to a woman and keep it a secret, and like that was just gonna have to be my life. I didn't realize, I mean I should have, that I had such accepting and loving family and friends, you know what I mean? I mean I thought that was, I didn't know any gay people. I didn't know people that lived out loud. I didn't know anybody like that, which I think is why it's so important that we see representation today. I didn't know that, you know? That's why it was important that I wrote my book. No matter if it sold 1 copy or 10,000, because I never thought that I could fall in love when I was in high school. Like, that wasn't possible for me. So it was important for me that I wrote that book because I wanted to write the book that I never had when I was growing up. Now there's 10 million of those books, you know? Heartstoppers on Netflix. Alice Oseman's writing about a lot of representation. You know, there's Robbie Couch just came out with a new book. I loved his book, The Sky Blues, back in the day. There's so many fantastic books with representation of all the colors of the rainbow, you know, and representation from our own voices is very, very important. I think had I had those books and those shows and those movies when I was a kid, when I was in high school, I don't think I would have felt so alone. You know, I think that those are really important. But that was a monumental day in the history of Alex and Peter and Indiana and the world, you know. Change is possible, I do believe that. So, the times, they are a-changin'. Anyway, okay, well, I thought I was only going to vlog for like 20 minutes. I was like, I have nothing to talk about tonight. You guys want to know what I had for dinner? Okay. So, they have a lot of vegan options here. Alex was like not hungry at all. So, he got a caprese because we ate these sandwiches. So, he got a caprese salad. I got a caprese salad. And then he got lasagna. And he ate like a third of it, and he was like, I can't do any more of this. They have this like honey cheese, like it's almost like a really thick hummus that you dip, like it's so good, and it has like honey in it. So I got that. I got tomato soup, and it was really like cold minestrone soup, and they like pour it over like the croutons and like the beans and stuff like that. It was delicious. I loved it. And then I got this vegetarian risotto, but I only ate like a third of it because I was so full at that point. And we were actually going to go to the little bar out there that we go sit at sometimes. But Alex had mentioned to me earlier, there was like this server that we love here. We like see her every time we come. And he was like, I haven't seen her yet. And I was like, I saw when we walked by the Japanese restaurant that she's working in there now. And he's like, oh, that would make sense because we don't go to the Japanese restaurant because they don't have any options. You know, because he's allergic to shellfish and I'm a vegetarian. So he was like, oh, that would make sense. And so when we were leaving, the Italian restaurant is like, you walk over this thing, and to the left is like the bar. There's a main bar in like the main part of the hotel. But then this is like a little like after bar, like patio, and like there's people dancing there and stuff like that. And so to the right was the restaurant. Well, she was coming right out of the Mexican restaurant where we were at. And I said, Alex, there's our friend. And so he stopped. She was like, oh my God. She gave us hugs. And it was so good to see her. And then we walked her back to the Japanese restaurant. We said goodbye to her and stuff like that. And then I was like, are you wanting to go to the bar? He was like, no, I'm really tired. Let's go back to the room. So I was like, okay. So we're back at the room, and this is my vlog for the evening. This is my vlog for the evening. What if my vlog was an opera? Okay, let's not even go there. It's not gonna be. But it could be. Anyway, I hope that you guys are having a magically amazing, what is today? I lose all track of time and days while I'm down here, or on any vacation, really. I'm definitely having a magically amazing Wednesday. I hope that you're having a magically amazing Wednesday or Thursday if you're watching this on Thursday. And if nobody else has told you this today, I love you, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye. Love you. I almost just pushed my camera back with my hand. Did you guys see that? It almost fell down. Probably would have broken into a million pieces on the concrete floor, or slate, or tile, or whatever it is. But anyway, I love you guys so much. Glamour shots, and I will see you tomorrow. I'm holding it now. Bye. Love you.